General Hospital spoilers reveals that one of the new developments in the increasingly tense relationship between Willow and Carly is the subtle shift in power dynamics between the two women. Previously, Willow was always the one yielding, a young bride trying to maintain peace with her powerful and domineering mother-in-law. But now, as the mother of 2 children Carly loves unconditionally, Willow is realizing that she holds a kind of power that even Carly cannot deny or override, the power of motherhood and the decision of who gets to see her children. This shift in dynamics is evident not only in how Willow has started standing up to Carly, no longer bowing down or stepping back, but also in Carly's gaze, the recognition that for the first time, she must seriously consider Willow's opinions and feelings, not because Michael demands it, but because Willow has the actual power to keep her grandchildren away from her. This shift is further complicated by Carly's polonium poisoning, an event that has provided Willow with legitimate concerns for Wiley and Amelia's safety. No longer just a personal rift. Willow can now cite a genuine threat to their lives as justification for limiting Carly's time with her grandchildren. This puts Carly in an unprecedented bind: how to balance her relationship with Jack, the man she's developing deep feelings for, and her relationship with her grandchildren, whom she loves dearly. For the first time, Carly faces a choice where both sides could bring profound harm. A new factor in the adjustment of their relationship is Nina's role in this complicated equation. Nina, as Willow's biological mother and Carly's bitter enemy, finds herself in a strange position as she navigates balancing a secret alliance with Carly against Drew, while also wanting to build a mother-daughter relationship with Willow. Every time Willow turns to Nina for advice on whether to keep the children away from Carly, Nina faces an ethical dilemma. Should she encourage Willow to act in a way that could hurt Carly, or should she advocate for reconciliation and sharing? Drew adds a dangerous new layer to the situation as he exploits Willow's fear to push her further away from Carly, with whispers about the danger Jack poses. Drew subtly plants seeds of doubt in Willow's mind, convincing her that keeping Wiley and Amelia away from Carly is the responsible act of a mother. This not only serves Drew's vendetta against Carly but also reinforces his position in Willow's life, positioning himself as her new advisor and protector. The arrival of Jason in this equation, as the only one fast enough to prevent Carly from slapping Willow, adds another layer of instability. Jason, who has long been loyal to Carly but also respects Willow, must now maintain peace between 2 women he cares about. His intervention is not only an instinctive response to stop the violence, but also a statement that he will not allow things to escalate beyond repair, even if it means occasionally going against Carly, a stance Jason rarely takes. Nina's role as an unwitting mediator in this conflict is creating new layers of complexity as all 3 women face conflicting priorities and intertwined loyalties. With Willow standing between her biological mother and her mother-in-law, and her newly discovered power, the tension not only erupts in predictable ways but also creates new alliances and fractures that no one is fully prepared to handle. And as Michael returns from his trip, he will face a completely new reality, a reality where his mother and wife are locked in a power struggle neither seems willing to back down from. Carly will strip Willow of her motherhood rights in a bold and shocking move that even those closest to her did not foresee. After weeks of enduring Willow's increasingly controlling access to Wiley and Amelia, Carly reaches a breaking point when Willow bans her from seeing the children, citing that Carly's relationship with Jack is putting them in danger. Instead of reacting with the fury everyone expected, Carly sets a carefully prepared and unexpected plan into motion. She secretly contacts Michael in Germany, convincing him that Willow is going through a severe mental health crisis that could harm the children, and with Michael's consent, Carly arranges for both Wiley and Amelia to be sent to Germany to reunite with their father, while Willow is supposedly recovering. The story of Carly taking Wiley and Amelia to Germany is unfolding at a rapid pace. Within 48 hours, Carly completes all necessary paperwork, receives legal support from Diane, and even arranges a private flight to avoid detection. When Willow arrives at Carly's house to discuss easing some of the previously imposed restrictions, she finds an empty house, with only a brief note from Carly informing her that the children are now with Michael in Germany, and that she should use this time to reflect on what truly matters. The shock and betrayal leave Willow reeling as she realizes that, while she was trying to protect her children from external threats. The biggest threat is coming from the very person she trusted to respect her motherhood rights. The emerging story of Carly's increasingly obsessive behavior is taking things to a whole new level. Carly, who once lost custody of Michael when he was young, now seems obsessed with history repeating itself, but this time with a twist. She is becoming the child snatcher rather than the victim. This obsession is not only shown through her extreme actions but also in how she justifies them. In private conversations with Jason, the only one who knows the full extent of her plan, Carly genuinely believes she is saving the children from an unstable mother, doing something no one else would dare, and that one day, Willow will thank her. This distorted perception, from a woman who once prided herself on her sound judgment, is revealing a darker side of Carly that even those closest to her find troubling. This is leading to one of the new pressures that are rapidly building in the Port Charles community. News of Carly kidnapping Wiley and Amelia quickly spreads, dividing the town into opposing factions. On one side are those supporting Willow, led by Nina and including Drew. On the other side are Carly's loyalists, with Jason reluctantly at the helm, alongside Jocelyn. This pressure is spilling out beyond the family. As Diane faces professional ethical questions, the hospital must consider Willow's mental health, and the police must decide whether to intervene in this complex family matter. The real explosion comes when Willow, with support from Nina and Drew, decides to fly to Germany to confront Michael and reclaim her children. But what none of them know is that Michael has not received the children. Carly lied about their true destination, and Wiley and Amelia are now at a secret location that only Carly, and possibly Jason, know. When this truth is revealed, it will not only deepen the crisis but also turn Carly's actions from a family custody dispute into a full-blown crime, putting her in a dangerous position not only with the law but also with Michael, who now realizes that his mother used him in a complex scheme to get revenge on Willow. As Port Charles spirals into this chaos, one question looms in everyone's mind. Has Carly crossed an irreversible line? And as the search for Wiley and Amelia intensifies, will Willow and Michael be able to overcome these wounds and unite for their children? Or will the rift Carly has created forever change the dynamics of the Corinthos Quartermain family? The new story about Willow's efforts to secure her rights is truly changing in a way that few could predict. No longer the image of the young, sweet, and submissive mother she once was. Willow has transformed into a warrior unafraid to confront Carly, someone she had always tried to please. When she discovered Carly had taken Wiley and Amelia, Willow not only cried in desperation but immediately took action. She hired a new team of lawyers, separate from Diane, to file an emergency petition, not just to regain custody, but also to request a permanent restraining order against Carly from having contact with the children. At the same time, Willow reached out to international law enforcement, accusing Carly of international kidnapping, a move that even Michael found surprising because of his wife's determination. This change in Willow's character didn't happen overnight. It was the result of months of pressure and control. She had endured Carly's continuous interference in how she raised the children, her so-called helpful comments that were actually criticisms, and especially Carly's persistent efforts to shape the relationship between Michael and Willow to her liking. Every time Willow made a decision that Carly disagreed with, she faced opposition not only from Carly but also from Michael, who often sided with his mother in their disputes. This build-up finally exploded when Carly took the children, making Willow realize that her patience had only led Carly to disregard her rights as a mother. The battle between Carly and Willow is bringing out new craziness in both women. Carly, who has always prided herself on controlling situations, is now becoming increasingly paranoid as she hides with the children. Every phone call, every strange sound makes her jump, believing she is being hunted. She keeps changing locations, even cutting ties with Jason, the only one who knew her original plan, because she fears he might be persuaded to reveal her whereabouts. Carly has taken the children to a small estate in rural Maine, which she bought under an alias years ago as a potential safe house. She has changed her appearance, dyed her hair dark and wears glasses, introducing herself to the rare neighbors as a widow caring for her 2 grandchildren after her daughter died in a tragic accident. Meanwhile, Willow is showing a completely new side of herself as she begins gathering information about every wrongdoing in Carly's past. Ready to expose everything in court to prove that Carly is unfit to be around her children. Willow has asked Drew, who is helping her in this battle for his own reasons, to use Aurora Media's resources to investigate Carly's past. She uncovered details about how Carly fought for custody of Michael from AJ, how she faked a DNA test to make Sonny believe he was Jocelyn's father, and even how she was committed to a psychiatric facility after her son died. Willow is even considering revealing dark secrets about the Corinthos family's business, a line she had never dared cross before. This madness is spreading beyond just the 2 women, dragging the entire Port Charles community into the mess. Nina, despite her deep animosity toward Carly, is torn between wanting to see her enemy fall and worrying about Willow's mental health, who is increasingly becoming like Carly in her willingness to do anything to achieve her goal. Jason, always loyal to Carly but with a strong conscience, is wondering whether he should intervene to stop things before it becomes irreparable. And Drew, motivated by revenge against Carly for abandoning him, is encouraging the worst sides of Willow's new behavior, pushing her to go further and further. One of the most terrifying pressures forming is Carly subtly creating evidence that Willow was the one who poisoned her, a plan born from desperation and increasing fear. Knowing that she might face kidnapping charges, Carly has started to build a fake case showing that Willow has been slowly poisoning her with polonium for weeks. Intending to remove Carly from the children's lives without facing Michael's opposition, she has hired a forgery expert to create fake medical reports, bribed a nurse at the hospital to confirm that Willow had access to harmful substances, and even forged messages from Willow's phone discussing this plan with Drew. Carly's plan didn't stop there. She also created a series of fake journals from Willow, recording her growing hatred for Carly and her plan to permanently remove the older woman. She added details about how Willow felt Michael was too close to his mother, how she hated Carly constantly interfering in their parenting decisions, and even delusions about Carly trying to take her children, everything designed to paint a picture of a woman becoming increasingly unstable and dangerous. Carly believes that if she can convince everyone that Willow tried to kill her, her actions in taking the children will be seen as a necessary protective measure rather than a crime. Carly's willingness to completely destroy Willow's reputation and life shocks even those closest to her. When Bobby, Carly's mother, accidentally discovers part of this plan, she confronts her daughter about how far she is willing to go. This confrontation ends with Carly accusing her own mother of not being loyal enough, an accusation that leaves Bobby speechless. For the first time, Bobby begins to wonder if her daughter has crossed a line that can't be undone, not just legally but also morally and psychologically. This is proving to be a new disaster unfolding in Port Charles, as lies, forgeries, and false accusations spread like an infectious disease. Spinelli, who initially refused to participate in Carly's plan, has eventually discovered the forged documents when Carly asked him to ensure they couldn't be traced back to her. His shock and horror upon realizing the extent of this scheme have left him struggling with his conscience about whether to expose the truth. Nina, with her deep hatred for Carly, has begun to doubt the poisoning story and is conducting her own investigation, possibly inadvertently uncovering Carly's plot. She has started talking to hospital staff, reviewing medical records, and even hired an independent expert to analyze Carly's blood samples taken during her hospitalization. Nina's motivation is not only to help Willow, although that's definitely part of it, but also the opportunity to finally expose Carly to everyone, proving that the woman everyone trusts and admires is actually a manipulative fraud. And Michael, when he is informed that Carly took his children without his true consent, is faced with the painful decision of whose side to take, or perhaps, to go against both to protect his children. He flew back from Germany immediately, only to find himself caught between the mother he's always trusted and the wife he loves. As he learns more about the situation, from how Carly deceived him into thinking Willow was having a mental breakdown, to how Willow is willing to expose every family secret to defeat Carly, Michael begins to realize that both women in his life are acting in ways that could permanently harm Wiley and Amelia. As law enforcement closes in on Carly, and accusations of Willow poisoning Carly begin to surface, Port Charles is preparing for a scandal that could shake the very foundation of the town. Not only are the Corinthos and Quartermain families affected, but even General Hospital is being dragged into the turmoil as medical reports are questioned and staff is investigated. The hospital, under Britt's leadership, is conducting an internal investigation into how polonium could have been stolen and used, and whether any staff members knew about or participated in this plot. Isaiah is truly experiencing one of the biggest changes in his role at General Hospital, from a mere behind-the-scenes doctor to a central figure in the complicated story between Carly and Willow. With his medical expertise and special position, Isaiah has become the key holder of Carly's true health status after the polonium poisoning. His involvement is no longer just about expertise. It has become pivotal as he discovers irregularities in tests and medical reports related to the case, irregularities that only a specialist like him would notice. When Isaiah starts digging deeper into Carly's medical records, he finds signs that someone has intentionally falsified the results to create evidence of slow poisoning. This discovery puts Isaiah in a dangerous position as he becomes the only person to know that the polonium in Carly's body was not the result of prolonged poisoning, as the forged documents suggest, but a single dose administered recently, a fact that could completely turn around Carly's accusations against Willow. One of the new pressures forming is how Isaiah is being pulled into the widening web of lies and conspiracy. While he wants to maintain professional neutrality and medical ethics, Isaiah is facing pressure from all sides. Carly, knowing that Isaiah treated her, has tried to involve him in her plan by exploiting his friendship with Jocelyn and offering enticing proposals for medical research funding. On the other hand, Willow, as a nurse at the same hospital, has approached Isaiah to seek the truth about Carly's condition, believing he can help prove her innocence. And in the middle of it all is Britt, who is conducting the internal investigation and demanding that Isaiah be completely transparent about all his findings, a request he knows could have serious consequences for many people. This pressure is truly forcing Isaiah to calculate every move, weighing not only his professional responsibility but also the ethical and personal impacts of his decisions. One of the new shocking stories is the transformation in Carly's health situation that Isaiah has discovered. Through detailed tests and thorough analysis, he has determined that Carly was not poisoned by polonium just once as everyone thought, but actually had two separate exposures to the substance. The first was a small dose, possibly accidentally through contact with Jack after he was poisoned. And the second was a much larger dose, a dose Isaiah suspects Carly may have administered to herself in order to reinforce her story about being poisoned by Willow. This discovery not only reverses Carly's story but also raises a terrifying question about how far she is willing to go to destroy Willow, even to the point of endangering her own health. The new story unfolding about this explosion is gradually taking shape as Isaiah must decide whether or not to reveal his findings. He clearly understands that by doing so, he will not only ruin Carly's plan but could also send her to jail for defamation, falsifying evidence, and possibly even kidnapping. However, by staying silent, he will become complicit in ruining the life of an innocent woman and possibly allowing the children to be permanently separated from their mother. This inner conflict is making Isaiah a far more complex character than his original role, and his final decision could reshape the entire plot. This is making one of the last craziness Carly has increasingly clear. When Isaiah begins to subtly question the tests and results, Carly realizes that he may be doubting her story. Instead of backing down or admitting the truth, Carly has pushed her plan to a whole new level. She has begun spreading rumors that Isaiah and Willow are having a secret affair, that he is trying to protect her by falsifying test results. She even created fake evidence of secret meetings between the two, including cleverly edited photos and fake messages. This madness not only shows how far Carly is willing to go to protect her plan, but also shows that she is losing the ability to recognize the boundary between right and wrong, between protecting and harming. All of this is turning the story between Willow and Carly from a simple family conflict into a much more complex tale about power, manipulation, and the consequences of trusting people who are undeserving. As Isaiah becomes a decisive factor in the story, the battle between Carly and Willow is no longer just about custody, but has become an investigation into ethics, truth, and the value of integrity in a world full of intricate lies. And when Isaiah is finally forced to choose a side, his decision could not only decide the fate of Wiley and Amelia but also Carly's future in Port Charles and Willow's potential recovery after all the harm she has endured.